Sorry to keep you waiting. I brought some drinks. Toretsugu jumped in, carrying a plastic bag with several plastic bottles inside. Okay, back to the future. Madame Jean's limo had a refrigerator, but it didn't have a heater. As a considerate act on the madame's part, the car had stopped at a service area in case they wanted hot drinks. The car returned to the highway with a smooth acceleration, typical of luxury cars. The green tea has no sugar in it, correct? Don't worry, it's sugar-free. For some reason, old, pure Japanese people never drink green tea with sugar. Even though they're filled with having sugar and black tea, they're fine having sugar in black tea or coffee. Sugar and green tea alone can't be standard. Weird. In pre-war Japan, they didn't have a culture of putting sugar in green tea, so it's probably a remnant of that. Julie, choose whichever drink you like. Thank you. What do we have? Julie's a modern youth, after all. I figured she'd have varied taste. A red bean soup drink, an eel liver flavored Japanese clear soup drink, a thick salty milkshake, wanyan flavor. That sounds disgusting. The selection so original, it'd give anyone a headache. Made Julie dizzy. Oh, nice pick. The chicken bone ramen. Black pepper flavor, huh? She held back the urge to punch that triumphant face, which was acting as though it knew exactly what Julie's tastes were. Today she went with the madam, advisor Uedara, Toretsugu, and 2 cars of guards to go on a picnic or not. The madam had business in a far-off place, so she'd expressed her desire for Julie to come with them and interview her in the car. 2013 was nearly over. I see. That explains the soup drinks. It's little Toretsugu's way of celebrating the season. This year is nearly over, and Madame Jean's long tale will probably end too. With the deaths of Stella and Yuji, Primavera changed its path dramatically. We're finally reaching 1950. If the historical facts I know are true, 1950 is the year that Amaka June, aka Madame Jean, became Madame. Base. The tale of Madame Rose is approaching its end. I'm sure Uedara still thinks about that time often. I was still immature. There are no ifs in history, but things might have changed if I had been capable a bit more. There are times that I've had such thoughts. Come to think of it, Advisor Uedara's relationship with Madame Jean is strange. Wayne adored Rose and was the leader of her elite guard. And Jean was supposedly the invader, who defeated Rose, and in practical terms took over the organization. I mean, she didn't really defeat Rose, right? I mean, she just takes over Primavera, and Primavera is a shithole fucking organization right now. However, this already wasn't the simple tale I might have expected, with Madame Jean defeating Madame Rose. Going by the tale so far, I was already starting to form a certain hypothesis. Without that, you couldn't explain the far-off gazes and speech patterns of the madam and her advisor. In 1950, the City 23 was changed completely. You mean Richard's exclusive nationalism changed Primavera and the entire city? Precisely. He believed that to complete his own revenge and protect the autonomy of his countrymen, military force was more important than anything. Military force is composed of 2 things, weapons and people. Now, of course, to buy a lot of weapons, you needed a lot of money. However, you needed even more money to continuously gather enough reckless people who could fight with those weapons. Well, yeah, because he's not doing anything to garner people to come to him naturally. He would need to pay people to die. If they really wanted to face off against the GDS with its Bajanbong backing, they would need to double the size of their forces. More like triple. All of Tokyo's cities possessed a sizable number of villains. There was a sizable number in City 23 as well. Primavera is what brought them together. It was hardly reasonable to try and double that number. One after another, Richard had started welcoming small forces and ruffians who had lost struggles for dominance in other cities in the countryside. It goes without saying that the villains love money, but they're even happier when their vanity is played to. They must have been considerably excited to be welcomed by the largest family in eastern Tokyo. Ruffians poured into City 23 one after another, which meant those ruffians need to earn food, money on their own. And of course, Primavera would need to earn even more money to support its doubled operation cost. Richard encouraged his crews to proactively solve the problem of their food money on their own. So that would mean it was the return to the Caleb family. The city reverted to the dark era that Madame Rose had risen up against. Thank God Richard's here to take the fucking blow for that one. But you know what? They probably aren't going to be like, haha, these guys fucking suck. It will mainly be, wow, Rose really let this shit go to shit. The ruffians formed factions, striding about and finding fault with people to extort money from them. In the shopping districts, you were forced to pay turf fees or bodyguard fees. And if you refused, you would be bullied horribly. Busted open, the shop's closed today. Stop it. I've been paid off, Primavera. Hey, we're Primavera too, so we want to get paid too. Having a few more bodyguards is always worth the cost, right? They don't do you any good once something like this has already happened, right? Oh, what's going on? We've returned to the Caleb era. No, it was probably even harsher than the Caleb era. Because unlike Caleb, Primavera controlled distribution too. Richard had gone around all of City 23's unions, forcing them to offer war funds to help protect their countrymen. So we're fucking starving and we're fucked. Thanks, Richard. You're a great fucking guy. Of course they couldn't disobey. After all, Primavera controlled distribution. I am A-okay with treating Richard as a fucking villain. You know what? That's easy peasy. He's shit at bag. Gentlemen, our ideas of common sense, morals, and goodwill are not shared by foreigners. Yeah, look at this fucking goodwill, dude. I got it in fucking spades. That's been made obvious by the recent string of tragic incidents. No, consider the oppression of Chinatown as it continues its endless encroachment, unwilling to give up anything. All of you merchants here must be aware of it. They know they cannot invade us economically, so they'll finally resorting to military force. Gentlemen, now is the time for our countrymen to unite and fight. Of course, we're not so unreasonable that we'd tell you to pick up your guns and rise up. We're the ones with the determination to be shields for our countrymen. We will stand at the brunt. All we need is your support on the home front, and we won't lose to anyone. What do you mean by support on the home front? Money, baby. We want you to show your determination to participate in this fight with us. Many have already become shields for their countrymen, shedding blood, falling, and sacrificing their lives. Anyone who fails to feel respect for such actions is no countryman of ours. Those without the will to fight are not our countrymen. Gentlemen, know that the inactive pacifism is an act that supports our enemies. We of Primavera do not accept as countrymen those who do not share the will to fight with us. Okay. This is Madame Rose's decision, gentlemen. Is it? Those without that courage to fight together for Madame Rose's ideals must get out. That's completely unreasonable. Are you gonna become friends of Primavera? Who knows what sort of bad luck might befall the bad boys who don't fight with us. You threaten him too much. Oh, sorry, Cyrus. I care not. Sometimes cowards need to be stimulated. Now that's my friend. Muttering. How ironic that they trust Primavera because it would protect their major distribution arteries from Chinatown. But now Primavera was a giant vampire with its fangs latched into City 23's neck. The people were resentful and discouraged, as though Primavera had finally exposed its true nature. Of course, they didn't just feel this way towards Primavera, but towards Madame Rose as well. Of fucking course! It's always her fault. Women suck. That's why I said it from the beginning. They were never anything more than villains. Anyway, I won't accept it until I hear directly from Madame Rose's mouth. That's right. It doesn't make sense that Madame Rose would say something like that. Oh, Richard said that Madame Rose gave the order. And if a guy says it, that means it's true. I'm sure Rose had some sort of plan. Now Richard just wording us a bit coldly is getting a distorted picture of it. How could it get any distorted to make it end up like this? The way they're threatening us for money to help our countrymen is exactly like Caleb. Oh. I still hate calling you. It means Madame Rose has finally shown her true colors. How else could you explain it? She was always a bit of a disagreeable sort of woman. Just a person who says pretty things while dressed in pretty clothes. Of course, naturally. The moment she starts pestering us for cash, she doesn't even show her face anymore. She must have gotten out of the hospital and healed ages ago. She wants money. Why doesn't she ask for it in person? She's nothing but cheap talk. She's been exposed now. This is what Madame Rose really is. Fucking dumb fox. Rose. I don't understand what they're thinking. Richard, who thought the organization might crack if Rose's authority was lost, had announced that she was in good health. Of fucking course. Then he claimed that she was avoiding public appearances to guard against assassinations, even though she was still Primavera's top leader. Makes total sense. So the people believe Primavera's sudden transformation was the result of Madame Rose's orders. That still doesn't make sense, but whatever. At the very beginning, some people had taken her side, trying to somehow rationalize Primavera's transformation. However, when the appearance of ruffians worsened in the atmosphere of the city, people gradually began to hate Rose. Literally doing fucking nothing, and getting shit on for it. I don't want to believe it, to think such a hottie had fooled us. King. Fool, it was obvious ever since that soy sauce business, wasn't it? Madame Rose was playing to fool us from the very start. She's one hell of a swindler lady. Rumor has it she's been locked up in some luxury hotel lately, partying like crazy. I'm literally making that up. Oh, sounds nice. Only a villain would party in times like this. All that merciful goddess business was an act in preparations for this. So she showed her true colors in the soy sauce war after all, scheming to sell a ton of soy sauce at high prices. I saw Madame Rose at Act. She was partying with a huge bunch of thugs in her wig. Oh, based? Wish. Doesn't this mean Richard's taking control over Primavera? Yeah, and he hates women. You can bet he wants to avenge Stella. That's up to him. It's pretty unfair to pretend Madame Rose gave the order. Meryl, does Rose know about this? Nope. I doubt it if she did. There's no way she'd let this happen. We should let Madame Rose know. She could stop the consigliere from running wild. The place Rose is being hidden was kept secret even from me. However, I'm sure Rose will return someday. Tell the girls not to stir up unrest until that day comes, no matter what. Man, it's really convenient that he happened to pick a place where no one knows where she is. So no one can contact her and be like, hey, Richard's going fucking crazy. Man, really crazy, almost like you planned out some of that part. And he's intentionally taking advantage of that situation. Hate to see it. He's just a fucking shitty person. Where was Madame Rose? I told you, she was secretly moved to Shizuoka to guard against assassinations, right? Yeah, she was still there. She'd endured the surgery and regained consciousness, and was now recovering on schedule. Her first wish was to return to C-23 right away, but Richard told her to remain where she was for the time being. Wow, conveniently. You know, for no other reason, obviously, than healing. But Richard! That's an order. Rose, I understand how you feel, but it would be dangerous for you to return to Tokyo right now. Yeah, I wonder why! Even though we know the GDS were the masterminds, we still don't know the identity of the enemy group that carried out the attack. By the Major's judgment, they were likely a former Special Forces unit from the Chinese military. The enemy knows you are our heart, and they have several hitmen out looking for you. Please understand we cannot afford to risk losing you again. I know that, but Richard, I can't believe that Lee was the mastermind behind that attack. Let me talk to Lee. If I can do that, I'm sure we'll be able to resolve this misunderstanding. Well, I don't want that. I understand how you feel. I didn't want to believe it either. But trust me, I've talked to him. Liar! But we'd found evidence. Undeniable evidence, as confirmed by the American military's information department. Doubt? At the word evidence, even Rose was forced to stop talking. Yeah, the fucking doubt. She hadn't seen it with her own eyes, and she just couldn't believe it. However, it had not only received a close examination by Richard, a man with skill in documents and contracts. Oh, it's fucking skill. Suck my dick. Skill. But it had been investigated by the American military's information department thanks to Gabriel. Man, it's crazy he doesn't have any ulterior motives. If it had been Richard's decision alone, one might suspect him of making a mistake, losing his composure after the death of his near relatives. However, now they had the U.S. Information Department's stamp of approval, there was nothing Rose could say. Even though we've been attacked 2 times already, they're still playing dumb. To those of us who have seen the evidence, it's a joke. Not that anyone is laughing. I imagine you want to speak with Lee directly by phone right now. But I would ask you to refrain, if that was their condition for hiding you. I wonder why you don't want her to talk to him. It'd be crazy, because he'd immediately say, yeah, Richard fucking killed my sister. And Rose would go off. But not even being able to phone him. In exchange, they have kept secret, keep you safe until this day, correct? It's fine, don't worry about it. By the time Rose's condition improved, Richard had already firmly resolved himself to take Primavera as his own. Rose's naive ideals couldn't fully protect their countrymen, or so he thought. However, he couldn't maintain Primavera without relying on her charisma. So Richard had used the Shizuoka organization, headed by an old friend of his, to keep Rose in a state of house arrest. Richard forbidden all contact between Rose and the outside world. Their enemy was Chinatown. Chinatown had connections with the Chinese military occupying forces. It was probable that they'd be able to tap Rose's phone, trace it, and find out where she was being hidden. If Rose's location was found out, the Shizuoka organization would get dragged into the Tokyo feud. Blocking Rose's access to a phone would prevent such a thing from occurring and causing trouble for the Shizuoka organization. According to Richard, this was one of the organization's conditions for agreeing to hide Rose. To that exact, an old friend of Richard's, it was very desirable that Richard be in charge of Primavera. Yeah, he has his own fucking attachment. He doesn't fucking care. So they had happily assisted in putting Madame Rose under house arrest. Sad. Rose had been confined inside the hotel room with the phone line unplugged. Of course, they at least kept the appearance of hiding her as a guest, but treating her with courtesy. Rose, let's leave Tokyo to Richard. Those people must be hiding in wait, waiting for you to get impatient and show yourself. Fucking Wayne, you're so goddamn stupid. Those people. Hey, Wayne, don't tell me you also believe Lee and the others did that. Okay. That's impossible, after all. Until right before that incident, we spoke together about the Distribution Association. It's inconceivable that he'd cause an incident like that after talking with us in such a friendly manner. If they were Japanese and operated by the laws of our common sense, I'd agree with you. Oh my fucking god, you're so stupid. But they aren't Japanese. Yeah, that totally. Yeah, you guys are great. You guys have fucking Caleb and Alfred. Fuck off. They talk to you like friends, but the whole time they're looking for a chance to strike. Wayne. They massacred all my wild dogs on guard duty. Even those who threw down their guns and begged for their lives, they were all shot dead right there between the eyes. It was all witnessed by passers-by. I won't forgive them. Wayne's expression twisted with hate, his fist shaking. Man, it's crazy that it was actually Primavera. Awkward. Hey, oops. I was so shallow-minded. It means you are still young. I was foolish, refusing to use my own head to make judgments. That attack 1 year previous was the one against the procession of Richard's body double. In order to prevent anyone from realizing it was an inside job, they massacred all the young men guarding the procession. That should have been so fucking obvious. Afterwards, I learned that it was a result of the ambition of those young men, the desire to accomplish something great while I was away. It was all because I was their boss, created an environment that praised those who took dangerous risks. They were young. They were all wolves with a keen sense of smell. You mean if they hadn't been so anxious to make a name for themselves, they'd have realized how odd it was for them to suddenly be chosen to guard the consigliary's procession? Yes. Correct. Well, that sort of thing is pretty complicated. Older people always brag about their old stories of valor, mocking the young people who've never faced death before. So of course we young guys gotta bet on a long shot. Quiet, you.